Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I invited Peter from the Tech World podcast to explain to us all what is AI bubble and why it may be dangerous. So leave a like, subscribe, and let's start.
All right, let's get right into it. We are living through an absolutely massive AI boom. I mean, it's changing pretty much everything. But what happens when the very people who built it, the creators at the top, start sending out signals that there might be a problem? That's what we're digging into today. Their warnings about a potential AI bubble. The whole idea for this explainer really starts with this one powerful thought. Artificial intelligence has taken over everything. And honestly, it really feels that way, doesn't it? Something that was stuck in sci-fi and research labs for decades has, in what feels like the blink of an eye, just exploded into our everyday lives. And it's not an exaggeration. I mean, just think about it for a second. We've got AI in our homes with smart assistants. It's totally changing education and entertainment. It's supercharging scientific research, and it's making businesses more productive. It's not some far-off future thing anymore. It is here, right now, and it is everywhere. And you know what follows that kind of transformation? Money. Lots and lots of money. Right now, there is just this giant, uncontrolled tidal wave of cash pouring into the AI industry from all over the world. We're talking billions. This huge rush of investment. Well, that's our first big clue that maybe we need to pay a little closer attention. So this leads us to the real head-scratcher, the core of this whole discussion. The very people who are building this new world, the ones leading the charge, they're the ones who seem to be tapping the brakes. So you have to ask, why on earth would they be worried about their own success? Well, listen to this from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. He says that with bubbles, there's always a real innovation at the center, a small core of truth. But then the excitement, the hype, it just gets out of hand. He's not saying AI isn't real. He's saying the hype around it might be growing way too fast, just like it did with the early internet. And it's not just him. Mark Zuckerberg over at Meta is saying something really similar. He sees the same kind of economic euphoria we've seen before. You know, that feeling that things can only go up. And historically, that kind of wild optimism usually ends with a pretty sharp, pretty painful reality check. By the way, if you're getting something out of this breakdown, a great way to support the original material is to go subscribe to the Angry Admin channel on YouTube. They also have the Tech World podcast, which is perfect if you want to go even deeper on topics just like this one. Okay, so Altman and Zuckerberg both brought up history, and that brings us to the most famous example of all, the dot-com bubble. This isn't just some abstract theory. For anyone who remembers the late 90s, what's happening now feels, well, it feels like we've seen this movie before. So let's just be clear on what we mean by a tech bubble. It's pretty simple, really. It's when the hype completely outruns the reality. The investment and excitement are all based on the promise of what a technology could do, not what it is doing. And eventually, the market has to ask for the receipts. And if they're not there, boom, you get a correction. And when you put them side by side, the parallels are just wow. A frenzy over a new tech's potential? Check. Billions in investment and crazy fast growth? Check. Wild expectations for companies that might not even have a real plan to make money? Check and check. It's these similarities that have the people at the top getting a little nervous. So that brings us to the big question, right? What if they're right? If this bubble does pop, what does that shakeout actually look like for the AI industry? Is it game over? Now, this is the most important part. Nobody, and I mean nobody, thinks this would be the end of AI. A market correction isn't about killing the technology. It's more like a forest fire. It's destructive, sure, but it clears out all the underbrush, all the unsustainable stuff, so the strong, healthy trees have room to grow. And in that kind of shakeout, you always have winners and losers. The ones who are going to survive are the companies with real, groundbreaking tech, and this is key, a solid, sustainable way to actually make money. But the companies that just slapped AI in their name to get funding, yeah, they're probably not going to make it. And let's be absolutely crystal clear here. People like Altman and Zuckerberg are not trying to stop AI. They're literally leading the revolution. This warning is about trying to create healthy, long-term growth. It's about trading in that blind optimism for some smart, careful planning so the whole industry doesn't just crash and burn. So all of this, it brings us right back to the future. We've got this game-changing technology, we've got more money than we know what to do with, and we've got a pretty clear warning from the very people in charge. So where do we go from here?
When you boil it all down, it really comes to this one single question. Will history repeat itself? Are we going to see the AI boom follow the exact same path as the dot-com bubble, a huge crash followed by a slower, more stable rebuild? Or is this time different? That is the billion-dollar or maybe trillion-dollar question.
Hey, thank you so much for sticking with me through this. I am genuinely curious to hear what you think. Are we in an AI bubble that's about to pop? Or is this just the beginning of something huge? Drop a comment below and let me know. And of course, if you found this explainer useful, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more, and maybe share it with a friend. I'll see you in the next one.
Follow and subscribe so you don't miss the next part. I upload daily, except weekends.